the yoga of the Supreme Person. Okay, just 1 second. Okay. Alright. So we were discussing Purushottama Yoga. So this is Purushottama month. It is finished yesterday, I believe. And our aim was to cover the Purushottama Yoga chapter from Bhagavad Gita as it is by Srila Prabhupada, so that we can get the knowledge of who is that Purushottama. And also, it is beneficial when we hear about Purushottama, especially on this Purushottama month, we receive immense benefits. Even though our material desire should not be our intention to practice or hear, Bhagavad Gita or practice Bhagavad Gita, but still, as a bonus, it still gives you the immense benefits, material benefits and spiritual benefits both. And the next month coming up is Damodara month. So currently there is a 10-15 days time, and we have a small month. I forgot the name. Let me check. Padmanabha month. So we are on Padmanabha month at the moment. It only goes for until exactly 30th, I believe. Correct, 31st. So Padmanabha month goes for from 18th of October till 31st of October, and then Damodara month begins from 1st of November till 30th of November. So during Damodara month, when we offer ghee lamp, you know how we did for Purushottama month, offering ghee lamp and offering anything, whatever we can to Krishna. During Purushottama month, we get unlimited benefits. And in Damodar month also, it is said that you get so much benefit when you practice bhakti, and whatever you do to Krishna, it multiplies. The benefit you receive will be multiplied, reciprocated by Krishna multiple times. But when we compare between Damodar month and Purushottama month, it is said you can't even compare 1/16th part of Damodar month to this Purushottama month because of its greatness. So anyway, Purushottama month is finished, and I hope you have all done some kind of austerity or some kind of practice of Bhagavad Gita in your lives. Perhaps offering tulsi leaves, or offering water or fruit or flowers or ghee lamps, whatever you have done in a little way, or chanting extra rounds, everything, whatever you have done, do not worry, it doesn't go waste. It will come back to you in many-folded times. So we'll just summarize what we studied in the last few weeks from Purushottama Yoga. So verse number 1 to 5, it is about becoming detached from the material world. Okay, so when we detach ourselves from the material world, what happens is detaching means consciously. It's the platform of consciousness, not that you give up your family members or you give up your job and then you try to go somewhere else. Wherever you go, you will still be in material world anyway. You can't escape. But the point is, from your consciousness, you are detaching yourself from material world. That means you're not too attached to who you are on the bodily platform and whoever are connected to that bodily relationship. So you're not too much connected to that. So we also saw an analogy given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, that is how an imperishable banyan tree is compared to the material existence. It's always existing. It's just that material forms come and go. Okay, if you build a building and once the building becomes really old, way too old, it can't stand on its own anymore, it just collapses. And what happens, whatever you use, the earth, water, fire, air, whatever you use to build that material building, all the material elements become dismerged from the building itself, and then it will merge it back into the material existence. Like that, the material form, like you and me, we are in this material body at the moment, so this is one form, and everything takes its shape, correct? For living entities or jivas take their shape based on their desires and karma from their previous lives. And other forms, just we build skyscrapers or whatever, that also come into come into being existent at one stage, so that will merge back into the material existence. So point Krishna is making is that you see this material existence is always existing. It's not that it come yesterday and it will destroy tomorrow. It always stays. It's just the material forms that come and go. Okay, and there is a banyan tree, and that is equivalent to material existence. In the banyan tree, it's upside down. Branches and roots are upwards and branches are downwards and going everywhere in the banyan tree. So it is compared to the leaves and twigs are compared to Vedic hymns, and let me see. Yeah, the leaves are compared to the Vedic hymns, and the branches is like how you go from one level of body to another level of body. So sometimes we are in the lower species, so that means the branches are in the lower level of the tree. And then when we get higher birth, like for example human birth is a higher birth, or even Devi Devatas taking birth in their body is also a higher birth. So when we have this branches representing which branches representing which lok or where we are going, we understand that okay, this is how it works. When you understand how this tree works, then you will not be too detached, because you are seeing as an outsider. What happens is when you are in the building and it is a catch up, it catches up the fire, then you panic and you feel like you're attached to it, you're connected with the building and you're going to die. So all this anxiety come into your mind. But when you're standing outside, say for example you're in the movie theater and there is a screen and you're watching exact same scene, but from the seat where you're sitting in the movie theater, and you're watching that on the screen. So it's something going on, a fire, building or whatever, and you don't have that much connection or attachment towards that scene, correct? You only, maybe you would empathize because maybe your favorite hero is in the building, but still you will have confidence that the heroes will never die, so therefore you're still peaceful, correct? But because of this connection we have, bodily identification, we always become anxious if something happens to us, our body or our loved ones, or extended community, extended society, and then community, after community, what the world. So the national level, the extension of your love goes from within your own body to the loved ones, and then society, and then community, and the nation, and the world, and etc. So that's everything again comes back to the point where it's a bodily conception, right? So we understand as as an observer outside and seeing, okay, this is material existence and this is how it works, then you are peaceful, correct? What happens when you understand how this tree works, automatically you have developed this detachment. So whatever, if you have someone you love and they have some problem or they had to pass away, so you develop that awareness that this is material world, janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi, which is birth, death, old age and disease. It's going to repeat regardless of who we are. No one can check that, correct? So everyone has to go through today or tomorrow or 100 years after. Everyone has to face that. Let's just go with that. So when we understand this is how tree works, and we get the material detachment as a result, and what happens after that? Then you surrender to the Lord. Okay, so because Krishna is the one who is giving us the knowledge, and then when you get the knowledge, you become detached, and then Jnana and Vairagya. When you have bhakti, you will develop Jnana and Vairagya automatically. So the Jnana means knowledge. So whatever we are reading, studying from Bhagavad Gita gives us the Jnana, correct? Because of Jnana, we build detachment. We develop the detachment. So from the Jnana and Vairagya, we can easily continue to perform bhakti. Otherwise, what happens if you are performing bhakti for only sentimental reasons? Say, for example, Krishna saved my life one time, or Krishna saved my child's life one time. Therefore, I am, I am grateful to him. I am indebted to him. Yes, that is all correct. Therefore, let me worship him. That is fine. After some time, everything is fine. Now your life has totally become normal. No problems. Your child is fine. You're fine. You tend to forget about Krishna because you don't have the knowledge. Okay, because you don't have the knowledge of why you're doing what you're doing, then obviously the sentiment cannot last for too long unless unless one come across another worse situation or dangerous situation in their life, then again they'll remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, sentimentalism only will not take us to the full surrender. Only sentiments can be there, but it can't be the only modes which will take us to the bhakti. It has to be the faith, surrender, the shraddha. The first thing is shraddha, and then association of devotee, and then chanting. So all this should take place, and then if that takes place, we can establish our strong relationship with Krishna. Even whatever happens in our life, whatever the worst thing that could happen in our life, we will not be worried because we know Krishna is with us. Correct? So that is Krishna in the first 5 verses. We understand that the point we get it is we should surrender to the Lord. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay, so sorry, anyone has any question? Alright, so next verses are 6 to 11. This is coming under the topic of transmigration. Okay, can anyone tell me what is transmigration?
From material to spiritual.
So
how do we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do we go from this material to spiritual world? Because spiritual world should be our ultimate goal.
Correct. So the transmigration itself means you're within the material world. You're taking one body after another body, correct? And you're changing your body from baby to boy, and then youth, and then middle age, and then old age, and then dwindle, and then die. So we go through 6 stages of lives also. So transmigration itself is changing from one body to another body based on our desires at the time of death and the karma we have accumulated so far in our previous lives. And also, as you said, we have to return to spiritual world from this material world. Okay, that should be our goal, correct? And all living entities, Mamayavamsa Jivaloke, that is in 15th verse, but here also it is said that we are all part and parcel of Krishna. Correct? Mamayavamsam Jivaloke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. So we are all part and parcel of Krishna. So qualitatively we are one, but quantitatively different. And we have seen this analogy many times, how there is a gold mine, and that is, for example, that is compared to Krishna, then there is gold particles. So that is us, jivas. So jivas, the quality of the gold, what you have in the little particle is almost equal to, not almost, it's equal to the, whatever the gold in the gold mine. But the quantity is different. The particle is very small in portion, and then of course the gold mine is huge. Like that, Krishna is the whole and we are the fragmental parts, that's all. And when a transcendentalist, and when he sees this clearly, what happens is he will understand that he doesn't want to transmigrate from one body to another. He'll get out of the body. He tried to quit this body and never want to take birth again. Okay, so let's just quickly read just the translation. Text number 5. Those who are free from false prestige, illusion and false association, who understand the eternal who are done with the material lust, who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress, and who unbewildered know how to surrender unto the Supreme Person, attain to that eternal kingdom. So Krishna is making clear, giving all the qualities or the attributes one should have to be able to attain the eternal kingdom. What are they? They shouldn't have any false ego, or they should be freed from the illusion, and they shouldn't have false association with their own body or with their loved ones. See, we have to take care of our family members, no doubt, but it shouldn't stop you from doing bhakti. In fact, as a family, we all should do bhakti, correct? If they are not favorable to do bhakti, then all we can do is pray for them, give them prasadam and pray for them, that they pray to Krishna that please allow them also to take up the path of bhakti. Then Krishna will make arrangements. Okay, sometimes the husband will not listen to the wife in this type of matter. Sometimes when we pray, he will start to listen. So this is like a miracle, because Krishna is Paramatma living in everyone's heart, residing in the heart of every jivas. He will inspire them to do whatever we pray. And if we don't pray, then Krishna will not interfere, because we all have independence. We all make our own little decisions, whatever it is. Only when we fully surrender to Krishna, he will interfere in our life. Otherwise, he'll let us do what we wanted to do. That's why he created the material world, because that's what we wanted it in the first place. Okay, so not only the false association, what else is who understand the eternal and done with materialist. See, even if we have the tinge of lust in our heart or desire to enjoy something, we will have to take birth again. At the time of death, if I have two desires, for example, just to enjoy those two desires, to experience those enjoyment desires, I have to come and take birth again. And whatever the body I deserve, I'll take. It's not that sometimes if I wanted to eat gulab jamun, for example, I don't have to be born as rich, because I don't deserve to be born as a rich person. So I would simply born, for example, in a poor family, and just eat the gulab jamun. The desire is satisfied now. It doesn't matter where I am taking birth. But at the same time, the taking birth is directly proportional to my karma, purva karma. Okay, so these are the qualities done with the material lust, who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress. Remember in chapter 2, we studied contents of the Gita summarized, I believe verse number 15. Sita Ushna Sugodokada Matre Sparasit Kaunteya Sita Ushna Sugodokada. Suga or Dukka, happiness or distress, it will be like Sita and Ushna, summer and winter and summer, right? It will come and go. Therefore, if we think, oh, this is winter, I don't like it, you can't do much about it, just go with it, correct? Similarly, the happiness and distress also in our lives come and go. So we need to continue with our goal, which is to attain eternal kingdom. The next 6th verse is Krishna talks about in the spiritual world there is no such thing as sun or moon. We'll be surprised, how come? How can they see? Krishna himself is so effulgent, so he just wherever he is, the light is there, right? And also it is said, wherever Krishna is present, there will be no darkness. Wherever Krishna is present, there will be no Maya. Like wherever there is a sun, no darkness. Like that, wherever there is Krishna, there is no Maya. That means we have to have more association of Krishna's pastimes or his devotees or prasadam. And don't take too much association of Krishna prasadam, then we will have bodily issues. But just to give an idea that we should have more association of Krishna consciousness than material consciousness. Okay, ultimately we should have only Krishna consciousness, but because we are just practitioners, we are sadhakas, we can't just expect to be pure already. We have taken millions and millions of birth to come to this stage where we are right now in the human body, and studying Bhagavad Gita is not ordinary thing to do, and it is very rare. Krishna will say in chapter 7 that Manushyanam Sahasreshu, it's not just easy. Out of thousands, one will be seeking for perfection. Out of thousands of that, then they'll seek more, like that. So in being inquisitive and then seeking perfection and then come to bhakti is even rare, more rare. So we are all in very fortunate position. Please take advantage of that and continue to chant Hare Krishna and hear and read Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. And we'll go to 7th verse. The living entities in the conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the 6 senses, which include the mind. Correct, the mind is the big problem, right? Biggest culprit in our body is the mind. The subtle body is the mind. So we have gross body and subtle body. Gross body, we have this, made up of Panchabhuta, Mahabhuta, earth, water, fire, air and ether. And then subtle body made up of mind, false ego and intelligence. Okay. And mind is the center of the senses. Okay. So what happens is the mind is the one tell you do this, do that. But if you have jnana, and that will tell the intelligence to control the mind. The soul will control the intelligence will control the mind, then mind can control the senses easily. So if you are on a diet, who is the first one to tell you not to take good food but go with the oily food? The mind, right? It happens all the time. So why? Because it's so weak. But what if you are a doctor, for example, or you have attended some workshop, or you have attended some seminar where they've made you aware of the bad consequences of eating bad food and the benefits of eating right food. So what will you do? Because of the jnana, the intelligence will tell, hey, hang on, mind, yes, you're right, it is tasty, I know that, I've experienced that, but do you remember what the doctor told us? So better not, okay? And the mind will try, but still, because intelligence is stronger because of the jnana, then it can control. That's exactly what we should do. Develop this urge to learn more about Krishna and Krishna consciousness through Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. But to start with, we'll stick to Bhagavad Gita and then we slowly explore to other shastras. Okay, and then when we have that knowledge, jnana, even if you only have Bhagavad Gita knowledge, that's more than enough to get out of this material world and not to take birth again and go to spiritual world. Okay, and the next verse 8 is living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another as air carries aroma. So the air carries aroma, like there is a flower smell, beautiful smell coming. Is it the flower coming and coming closer to your nose and telling you that smell me? No. So the air is the one carrying that aroma to you. Similarly, this material world, the living entity in the material world carries different conceptions. So he wanted to enjoy this, wanted to enjoy that. Depending on his desire, he has to take birth in that particular body. So if it is always said this example, if one is eating like an animal, then the law of nature will make a decision, why bother giving him a human body when he is behaving like an animal? So in the next life, let me give him animal body, because his desire is so much so that he wanted to live his life like an animal. So yeah, we should not waste giving human birth to this man or woman, whoever, or this jiva. Okay, so that is why we need to live sattvic life. So sattvic life means living in the mode of goodness. Okay, we will study what are the 3 modes of material nature. Just briefly, 3 modes of material nature are the mode of goodness, the mode of passion and the mode of ignorance. But in the future chapters, we will discuss in detail how a man will react. For example, if I say man, it doesn't necessarily mean just the man, just saying the human beings. How they will react in this particular mode when they are in, and so on. Okay, and what kind of food they eat when they are in this particular mode, and how they behave. So much so we will understand from the later chapters. So we'll move on from here. And 8th verse, we just did that. And the 9th verse, the living entity that's taking another gross body obtains a certain type of ear, tongue, eye, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoy a particular set of sense objects. So we already discussed that. If he gets a tiger body, so he will get in the tiger body he'll get tiger eyes, not the deer or cow eyes, correct? So tiger eyes, tiger nose, whatever belong to that particular species, he'll get that, so he can enjoy whatever he wanted to enjoy. Okay, and because of his mind, he is carrying those desires. Its mind is said to be Gudon of desires. And 10th is foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this. See, a lot of people in this world, I believe I wrote an article for bi-monthly magazine from Folk News Melbourne, ISKCON Temple. In that I did mention about this point. A lot of people, especially in India, when you talk about death, they believe or think, in their opinion, it is very inauspicious. Even in my family also, relatives also, when we talk about the word death, immediately they panic and they feel like, oh, it's so inauspicious you are talking like this, talking about death. But they don't understand that death is reality. If it is not today, it will come another day. We can't escape from it. We already discussed it, right? So what is the point that we can take away from this is we simply need to live a life to decide our own self how we should quit this body and where should we go. Okay, Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of ISKCON, he has written a book called Easy Journey to Other Planets. Okay, it is available for free in Veda base. If you go to the library in vedabase.io, and you will have all these books. Okay, so you can read it for free, and obviously if you would like to make a donation, yes, you can donate. So see, all these books are available. Easy Journey to Other Planets, I can't see it here, but it should be there somewhere. If you need one, I can arrange for that. So yeah, so in that also Prabhupada says people are trying to go to the moon and the planet Mars, but simply they are wasting their time and energy. Okay? And why? Because to quit the body and go to the different planet, or even while existing in the same body going to the different planet, it is done through different method. It's not through you spend a lot of money and go. See, in the water, if you see aquatic animals, they have certain type of bodily features, so they can survive in the water. So if there are fire insects, they have certain bodily features. Again, they have to survive in the fire, correct? Similarly, when you go to the different planet, you have to have a particular kind of body, so you can survive in that planet. So foolishly what we think, because we are scientists or very well educated, it doesn't mean that you can just do something abnormal or opposite to the law of nature. What will happen? We will have to face the bad consequences. You could rather spend the time reading this Easy Journey to Other Planets, which will cost you not more than $2 or $5 or something. Simply you can figure it out how you can go to not just the material world, how you can go to the spiritual world itself. Those Mars planet, whatever within this material world only, correct? But if you want to go beyond, that also can be done through spiritual process. Okay, so the endeavoring transcendentalist, text 11, who are situated in self-realization can see all this clearly. But those whose minds are not developed, and who are not situated in self-realization cannot see what is taking place, though they may try. So that's what I was saying. In India, when we talk about death, they feel like don't talk about that. I don't care what happens to me after this life, and I believe this is the only life we have. After this, we die. That's it. We don't go anywhere else. There is no other planets, no other life. And Prabhupada has also written a book called Life After Death, and then life comes from life as well. So by reading Srila Prabhupada's book, which are all based on Shastras, strongly based on Shastras, we can get that self-realization. There is a book called Science of Self-Realization also, which you can get it from the same page that I just showed you a few minutes ago. So from this, when we develop that knowledge, we become very well situated in where we are spiritually. Therefore, whatever that happens around us, we will be very strong, and the way we perceive things and we react or respond, rather respond, not react too much, but rather respond to certain situation will become, will become that we are as if in the mode of goodness. Okay, people in the mode of ignorance will behave differently to certain type of situations, correct? And mode of passion, again they behave differently. And when you're in the mode of goodness, then you'll do what's best for you and others, not being too selfish or something like that. Okay, next verses 12 to 15. Here we talk about, Krishna is talking about his supreme position as the maintainer. Okay, so he would talk about how he is the maintainer within and without. As the sun, as the moon, he gives us the sunshine and the moonshine to dissipate the darkness of the world, and the moon to give this juice and the nourishment to the fruits and vegetables at night. So, who is giving this power to the sun and moon is Krishna. So, Krishna is declaring that. And then he is telling each and every planet, I enter and maintain that as well. So whatever you see, the planets that are in orbit, it's all because of Krishna's energy. Okay, and also he says in the verse number 14 that Krishna is the digestive fire in the stomach. So I sometimes, when I feel stomach's paining, then I feel like, wow, Krishna is not working very well today. So we pray to Krishna. See, to go to the toilet, to vomit. I was doing some treatment, and I had to vomit to detox myself, to go to toilet to detox myself. Even for that, I have to sincerely pray to Krishna. We think even for that, everything, you can't even move a blade of grass without Krishna's permission. Okay, without Krishna's energy, you can't even do that. Then what to speak of, attaining anything, whether spiritually or materially, correct? So we need his sanction for whatever we need to get done. So even for that, the stomach, to digest, Krishna has to be there. The hydrochloric acid, the digestive fire, the Agni in the stomach, if that doesn't work, right, your entire body is just total waste, because it doesn't work. So a function of your body will start to collapse here and there, start to disperse from its original functionality. So that is why you need to eat the right food at the right time, in the right quantity, in the right spirit. So you maintain that hydrochloric acid. If you eat too much or too spicy, again these things we will discuss, not entirely, but at least to the food in the mode of goodness and mode of ignorance and mode of passion, we will understand why one should avoid too spicy food. Spicy food is not recommended at all. But these days, in the name of Ayurveda, people still recommend, yes, you take chili, you take that, you take this masala, that masala. No, Sattvic means you just eat the food which are very natural, without you have to make or manufacture something else, like powder based, factory bought things or food. So you stick to the food that is very natural, like fruits and vegetables, coconut or tomato, and you just get the spices from the salt. That's all. Not more than that. But yes, you can add a little bit of pepper or something like that, not too much, because if we don't manage our health now, when we get older, it will become very difficult. So what happens, you understand all the transcendental knowledge, you realize yourself and everything, but your food regime is very bad. Then what happens, one has to die at an early age, and then has to take birth again and start from this, not necessarily start from the scratch for self-realization path, but definitely has to start from the scratch for the material perspective, correct? He still has to start from ABCD 1 2 3 4 like that, correct? But anywhere, whatever signs of self-realization he had accumulated in the previous life, that he can continue from where he left. Like bhakti also the same thing. But definitely for the matter of material knowledge, whatever he has accumulated, that will be gone once the body is gone. Okay. And next is 15th verse is the Mamayamsa Jivaloka, very important verse. How Krishna not only as a sun gives energy to the sun or the moon, but also in the stomach as the digestive fire, and then he goes one level up to everyone's heart, and then he gives us jnana, smriti and apohanam. So jnana means knowledge and smriti means remembrance, and then apohanam means forgetfulness. Okay, and he is saying Vedaishi Sarva Ahameva Vedye. Okay, this verse will go and just read that verse. Very nice verse. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivista matta smriti jnanam pohanam cha Vedaisha sarvai ahameva vedyo vedanta krit veda videva chaham. So this is very nice verse, and Krishna is saying he is reciting as Paramatma. See, as a father sending a child to the hostel, still he will send everything, especially the mother. If you ask, if she is sending the child to the hostel, she will pack so many things, like she'll make laddu, she'll make muruku, and she'll make a lot of homemade snacks so that the child can enjoy. She will make for his or her friends also, the child's friend also. Otherwise what happened, they will steal the child's food and child will not get anything. Therefore she will make sure she'll give for him as well as for the friends, so they can they'll be quiet for some time. Like that. So she'll make sure she gives everything that the child needs, more than that. And then she also gives, father will give a phone, keep it, and whenever you need us, please call us. Whenever you need money or anything, please call. Like that. Similarly, Krishna not only created material world and sent the jivas there because the child only wanted to stay in hostel. Like that, we only wanted to stay away from Krishna. It's not his idea, it's our idea. So we came. But because Krishna is so much worried, so merciful, he comes with us. He not only creates the material world, he comes with us in different energies, different forms. Okay, and he comes as the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, first starting with Mahavishnu, and then Garbhodakshaya Vishnu entering each universe, and then from each universe and every jiva he enters as a Shirodakshaya Vishnu. Okay, one second. Okay. We will move on to the next one. Next section covers 16 and 18. We see section by section because of the themes. First 5 verses talking about detachment from the material world. The next verses talks about 11 to 6 to 11 talks about transmigration, and then next section 12 to 15 talks about how Krishna is the maintainer. Then we are coming to the next section, which is 16 to 18, 3 sloka Bhagavad Gita, the summary of Vedas and the Vedanta. So, conditioned living entities, it is said Kshara, Akshara. Kshara means fallible, Akshara means infallible, 2 classes of men, and or 2 classes of beings, not just humans, but just general beings also. The material world, okay, we are all fallible because we are conditioned by these 3 modes of material nature. Right, we are influenced by 3 modes of material nature. Sometimes if it's nice weather, we are very happy. So the weather is in the mode of goodness, you go into the mode of goodness. Weather is in the mode of ignorance, you go to the mode of ignorance. You eat the food in the mode of ignorance, you go to in the mode of ignorance. Correct? Because we are so conditioned and influenced by these 3 modes of material nature, and we are fallen here from the spiritual world to material world. So we are fallible. Correct? And anytime someone comes and tricks us, what, if you buy this, I'll give you this and that. And I remember when we were in the shopping center pre-COVID, a lady came and said, look, we are giving you car wash, 3 vouchers for cheap price, only 1 or 2 left, just take it. So she gives that urge for us to buy, because if we don't, then the deal is gone. So you get that's how the salespersons are, correct? So they just trick you and put you in a corner and say, you know what, you need to buy now, otherwise you're doomed. You just buy now and you will lose the deal and you'll never get it again. And they make a statement like, that's it, end of your life now, just make the decision. They put you in the corner. And if you are clever enough, sometimes I'm not so so you will fall for that, right? If you're not clever enough, you'll fall for that, and you'll think, oh yes, come on, let's buy. But still, you would Google it and make sure this is available, and the lady said that was the last one or something, and we bought it. And then she went, she said that's it, finished, right? And the next week or something we came, she was selling with other people. My husband says, see, but the thing is, what we bought, it was cheaper only. Otherwise, we would not buy. Normally, we don't buy like that. Cheap, not cheap. We don't buy things easily, generally. So when it was a deal like 3 vouchers for car wash or something, when I calculated, it was like for one time car wash is equal to 3 times wash because of the voucher. Then I thought, look, even if she is giving it like because of promotion, whatever, or even if it is a last ticket or whatever, we still get a better deal. For us anyway, we need to spend this much money for every car wash. So let's not car wash, sorry, car maintenance or something. So let's buy it anyway, like that. So you still make a right decision. Sometimes you foolishly make decisions also. I do that as well. So that's why we need to be very much clear on what we are doing. So we are already fallible, and then we fall again and again in this material world by the salespeople and so on and so forth. Okay, the man will fall for the woman, and the woman will fall for the man, and things like that. So infallible ones, where are they? Where they are living in spiritual world, okay? Because they are not fallen. They are just there because of their bhakti. And then verse number 17, Krishna talked about Kshara and Akshara, that is fallible and infallible. He is introducing the third personality, and that is the greatest living personality. Who is that? Himself. That is himself. Supreme soul, Paramatma, Shiro Drakshaya Vishnu. So we are fallible because we take birth again and again, correct? Based on our desires and karma. And he is not perishable person. He is not fallible person or perishable person. He is imperishable Lord himself. He is the Supreme Lord himself. He enters into the 3 worlds, the middle world, upper world, and the lower world, okay? And he maintains every one. And then beyond both these is the transcendental Supreme Person, the Super Soul, who maintains the 3 worlds. Both in this world and the Vedas, Krishna is celebrated as the Supreme Person, the Super Soul. So not only in these worlds and also in the Vedas, Krishna is celebrated as the Supreme Person. But what happens, people when they read Vedas, they only read a certain section of Vedas because of their interest. Sometimes that's what they have been taught by their superiors. Therefore, they skip the part where it is said Krishna is the Supreme. Even in Padma Purana, the Siva Purana, Krishna is Supreme is mentioned by Siva himself. Okay, and we see that in the other Puranas, like how the person, like for example, if you go to Kamala Hassan movie and he glorifies Rajinikanth like that, because Rajinikanth is the superstar. So you know that. But because if you don't know Rajinikanth is superstar, because you are from different state of India or something, and when your hero is Kamala Hassan, and if he doesn't mention about Rajinikanth, then you will never come to know, correct? Like that, when the Padma Purana or Shiva Purana, it purposely talks about one particular deity. Like Shiva Purana is for Shiva, for example, but still he'll glorify Krishna or Vishnu. Okay, that part is hidden by those followers of Shiva purposely. Sometimes due to ignorance also they might have missed it. Nevertheless, the followers of Shiva doesn't know Krishna is supreme. They think Shiva is supreme and follow Shiva. Look, Shiva and Krishna are almost equal. Okay, Krishna says out of his humility, greatest humility, he says, look, you should give respect. Like there was a pastime, Daksha pastime in Srimad Bhagavatam, where Daksha is the Prajapati, like a progenitor of Jivas, the material world. When Brahma created Daksha, his job was to procreate. And that time his 12th daughter, I believe, 16th daughter, Shati, which is Parvati's previous life, and Shati was married to Lord Shiva, because Brahma requested Daksha that Sati would be good match for Lord Shiva. So they married. But one time there was a yagya. Daksha invited everybody, great personalities, and Sati also came. Sati has 15 other sisters. Their husbands also came. It's a very big yagya festival. And that time, Lord Shiva, who is the supreme Vaishnava, Vaishnavanam Yatva Sambhu, he is the one of the greatest Vaishnavas. That means worshipper of Vishnu. And he was meditating on the supreme soul within his heart, and he closed his eyes. He was meditating, so he was in trance. He didn't know what is happening outside. And that time Daksha came into the assembly, and all the personalities, great personalities, stood up except Brahma and Shiva. Brahma did not stand up because Brahma is the father of Daksha. He doesn't need to stand up. Shiva is the superior to Daksha, but in the relationship, bodily relationship, he is a son-in-law of Daksha. So therefore, Daksha expected Lord Shiva to get up and offer his obeisances to Daksha. But Shiva, he was meditating on the Super Soul. He was offering prayers to the Super Soul. That means when you pray to Krishna, you are already praying for every other jivas. Okay. That means when you water the root of the tree, you are automatically nourishing the part of the tree. Twigs and leaves and everything, correct? That is said in Bhagavatam, an analogy. Like that, when you are worshipping Krishna, automatically your needs taken care of. Okay? That means you will be given intelligence by Krishna that what you need to do. Manage your time, organize things better, etc. Okay? So, Daksha became very angry and he just spoke very ill words towards Lord Shiva. That time Lord Shiva left. Okay? And so like this, I don't know why did I say this story. So anyway, even the great personalities worshipping Shiva. Krishna. That time Krishna came to the yagya after Shiva left, and then Sati, that is Parvati, committed suicide. She performed tapasya and developed the fire within her body and killed herself, committed suicide. That's when Shiva became angry. Otherwise, he is very humble. Still, he was angry only to chastise Daksha and his followers. But that time, after this, Sati died, and then of course Sati died and then took birth as a Parvati in the next life for the Himalayas, Mount Himalayas. She took birth, and then she married to Shiva again. That's okay. And because this incident happened, Lord Vishnu came to that place and then chastised Daksha. Said, look, Shiva and me are almost equal. Okay, whatever you give me the offerings, you should do that for Lord Shiva also. We are not different. Okay, but they are different. It's still out of that great humility and detachment from Krishna, his original position. He just says that. But also it is said in Bhagavatam, if you take milk and there is a curd, and how do you make curd from the milk? You put lemon juice or something sour, and then it turns into a curd, like that. So it's both coming from the same product, right? Like that, Vishnu and Shiva are compared in that level. Okay. Of course, Krishna is supreme. From Krishna only everyone comes. But this is to indicate Shiva is not in a cheap position or anything, or a cheap deity or anything. He is a very chief. Not cheap, but he is chief of the demigods. Okay. And other thing is 19 and 20, the last two verses. Knowing Krishna means knowing everything. Okay. So now whoever knows Krishna, that is Supreme Personality of Godhead as Krishna, that means you know everything. You don't have to know anything else. What do you do when you know Krishna is the Supreme? You say goodbye and go? No, you should perform bhakti. That's the whole point. That's the idea. And that's what Krishna is saying. Once you know I am the Supreme, then what you should do? Engage in devotional service. Okay. This is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures, or sinless one, and it is disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavor will know perfection. Okay, because once you know this truth, then you are the wisest. You are the most intelligent person. Okay, and whatever endeavors you make, you will attain perfection. So knowing Krishna is the Supreme, having faith in the process of bhakti, then you will achieve perfection in your life. And next, Okay, next means if you have to take birth again, you will continue bhakti until you have get rid of all your material desires. Then until you do that, you can't go to spiritual world. But once you have done that, you will go to the spiritual world, and then you'll take birth. Not take birth, and because soul never takes birth, of course. But you'll get spiritual body to live in the spiritual world. Okay. So I stop here. So that is the end of Purushottama Yoga summary, chapter 15, Bhagavad Gita as it is. Any questions? We have 2 minutes.
Mataji, I have one question. I heard about Vishnu Tattva, Shiva Tattva, Jiva Tattva.
Yes.
What exactly that is, and how the material modes of nature affects animal beings?
No, material modes of material nature is doesn't affect Vishnu Tattvas. Vishnu is what Supreme Personality of Godhead, and original Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna. And like Vishnu Tattva, and then Shiva Tattva, Jiva Tattva, and then Shakti Tattva, there are different types of Tattvas. And we just briefly, because in Journey of Self-Discovery or Science of Self-Realization it is covered. I've already covered that in Tamil, but obviously you might not have heard the English versions, which I did a while ago, English audios. But just to briefly, Shiva Tattva is like in the middle. He's not Jiva Tattva. He's not Jiva like us, like fallible, because we are in the material world, we are fallible. And Vishnu, obviously, he's infallible. And Shiva Tattva, he is in the middle. And he is superior than us, of course. And he is not as superior as Krishna, but he is almost equal. We just explained whatever I just said about comparison between milk and the curd, that is Shiva Tattva. Okay? So to understand,
why we use Tattva? Tattva, what is the meaning of Tattva here?
Tattva means philosophy or the knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah. So Krishna Tattva is there, Radha Tattva is there, Krishna Radha Tattva is there. So just to understand that philosophy of what is going on.
Okay, and Devatas, if we talk about demigods, where they come, in which Tattva?
Jiva Tattvas. So Devi Devadas are still the Jiva Tattvas. Lord Brahma also Jiva Tattva. Even though he was the secondary creator, Sarga Visarga. Sarga means primary creation, and Visarga is secondary creation. It comes in the Bhagavatam, third canto, and or second canto, sorry. And Krishna creates the material world, that's primary creation, and then he picks it up and then he engineers the material world. He structures 14 planetary systems and how it should be, how the living entity, designs of the everything. He allocates the work to different Devi Devadas. There are Devi Devadas for these reptiles, Devi Devadas for birds, like that. So he allocates the job and he engineers it. And of course, Krishna is the chief engineer, like that.
Okay, so that means if we worship demigod, if anybody worship demigods,
Yeah.
and sometimes we hear like if you worship this demigod, they will get angry on you or something like that. So that means that they are affected by modes of nature. That's why they are sometimes angry on us or something like that.
Yes, all Jiva Tattvas are influenced by the three modes of material nature. Vishnu Tattva or Shiva Tattva, they are not influenced by three modes of material nature.
Shiva Tattva as well?
No, Shiva Tattva is also not. He is not. But sometimes sometimes in the Bhagavatam past times, it is put in a situation where he behaved angrily, for example. If you have heard the pastime of Shiva, like the pastime, I forgot the sage name. The sage is actually the son of someone, I can't remember, but anyway, he wanted to establish who is supreme, whether Vishnu or Brahma or Shiva. So he goes to the Brahma Loka and then he behaves nastily with Brahma. Brahma becomes angry and he just chastises this sage. And then the sage goes to Shiva, and then Shiva also becomes angry and chastises the sage. And then sage finally goes to Vaikuntha Loka, and then Krishna or Vishnu, he was laying down on the Sankarsana snake, and then he kicks on the chest of Vishnu. Then Vishnu says, well, oh, your lotus feet would have got hurt because of my hard chest. Maybe I should give a massage for your feet. Then he became very humble. The sage became very humble and offered obeisances and apologized. So, in this situation, one may see and look at things. Oh, definitely, Lord Brahma and Shiva were in the mode of ignorance because or passion, that's when you get angry, you become angry in the mode of passion, like that. And but the truth is, Shiva is Vaishnava. How can he be in the mode of ignorance or any modes for that matter? It just to establish the supremacy of Vishnu. Sometimes, for the pastime's sake, the great personalities may behave like as if they are in mode of ignorance. The best example we are doing right now is Arjuna is in the mode of ignorance. Only when you are in the mode of ignorance, you think you are the body, not the soul. And Krishna, why Arjuna doesn't want to fight? Because he thought, I am this body, my relatives or my bodily, connections. Therefore, I don't want to kill them. Not knowing everyone has to die. Correct? But the truth is, he is a friend of Krishna. How can one, being a friend of Krishna, can behave like an ignorant person? That is not possible. But Krishna purposely puts someone in such situations to glorify that person, or sometimes to glorify himself. But again, he doesn't do that purposely. But Shiva and Brahma chose to bring that supremacy of Vishnu. That way they behave like that. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji.
Any other questions?
Yeah, Mataji, with respect to prayers, sometimes they say that you shouldn't pray anything to God because you won't be able to. But few people tell that until you pray God, you will not be able to get. So, should we practice praying God or should we just leave it to Him?
See, that depends on what level of sadhaka we are in. Okay, whether we are in advanced stage of bhakti or we are in the beginning or in the middle or nowhere. So we don't know where we are, only Krishna knows, correct? And in Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, second canto, Akama sarva kama va moksha kama udarati tivrena bhakti yogena yajate purusham param. So it is said, whether you have material desires or no material desires. So sarva akama means you have no material desires. Sarva kama means you have so many, everything is, you have so many material desires, or everything, you want to achieve, something like that. Or moksha kama means you are having the kama towards moksha. Sometimes you want to be liberated, correct? Whether you have desire for having no desire or having so many desires or to attain liberation, doesn't matter. What you should do? Yajate Purusham Param. So you should worship the Parama Purusha Bhagavan. Who is that? Krishna. How? Tivrena. So Yajate Purusham Param. Perform to this Purusha, Parama Purusha. What to perform? Bhakti. How to perform Bhakti? Tivrena. Intensifying. Or with intensity. Perform the Bhakti with intensity, high intensity. Then what happens? You will attain whatever you are praying for. Okay. So we are on that stage only at the moment. So we have to pray. If we think, not we have to pray, I shouldn't say that, but if you think, okay, you know what, Krishna, you do whatever you want, then you become more anxious about your current situation, thinking, I leave it to Krishna. But still, because we don't have 100% faith in Krishna, you think, oh, what do I do? It's not happening. Maybe I should have prayed. I left it to Krishna to do whatever he wants to do, but I am suffering so much, and it looks like he is also not doing anything about it. What I'm supposed to do? That kind of situation makes you become more anxious, that you're not able to focus on bhakti at all. Rather than doing that kind of practice, better we pray and leave it to Krishna after that, right? And then you will feel satisfied. For example, if someone is sick, you pray to Narasimha and pray Narasimha Kavasham, right? And then leave it, because you now have the faith and some satisfaction and inner peace that yes, now I prayed Narasimha Kavasham, I recited Narasimha Kavasham for our good health, and Narasimha will take care. So I am now peaceful. Because I am not doing that, then you get all these type of ideas of why this is not happening, what should I do. just to avoid that anxiety level, it's better to pray only. Okay, it's nothing wrong to pray to our Father. He is our Father. He'll give us. Correct. When we come to the advanced stage, we will know. We don't even think whether should we pray or should I not pray. We don't even ask. We just simply leave it to Krishna. Right? Until we come to this stage, let's pray. It's okay.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
And he will love it actually. At this beginning stage, if you pray to him, he will love it. And he will give you. And you desire for it, he'll give you. If it is a right desire, of course. But sometimes even for material desires also he'll give. But again, it's up to him. How does he want to give? But generally, praying works.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Mataji,
Yes.
I have a small doubt.
Huh?
Like regarding the worship, like it's okay if we remove our picture in our office.
Okay. See, Devi Devadas are Jivas. We already discussed they are Jiva Tattvas. They are fallible. If you are holding on to someone who is already having hands tied and you want your hands to be untied, okay, it's hard for them to help you. Already their position itself bad. Okay, they might be superior, correct, but still they are in fallible position, correct. So we have to approach someone whose hands are untied so they can come and untie our hands, untie our the ropes that is binding our hands. So we need to make a decision at one stage where how we can fully surrender to the Supreme Lord. It's nothing wrong to worship, not worship. Worshipping goes to Bhagavan only. Bhakti means Bhagavan only. Devi Devadas are not Bhagavan as per the Shastras and Parashurama Muni and so many other great sages and scholars and devotees. But Devi Devadas are like our uncle and aunts. They are very good well-wishers of us, yes, no doubt. And in fact, Lord Shiva and Parvati are superior to than everybody else within demigods community. So they have the power, definitely, no doubt. And every other Devi Devadas also have power, okay. But it depends on what you deserve and don't deserve, depending on your karma background. Okay, it's not that they give you because they love you and all. They are like bank managers, give you loan only if you have a credit check passed, the history of credit check being passed. But with Krishna, not like that. He can change your karma, he can remove your karma, he can give you karma. Whatever he wants to do, he can do it, Krishna. But with them, they have limited capacity. So we need to come to a stage where we make a decision, okay, now let me surrender fully to Krishna and respect Devi Devadas. Respect should be there. If you go to Devi Devadas temple, please offer your prayers to Devi Devadas to guide you to perform better bhakti to Krishna. Then they will be more pleased. Correct? And Prabhupada gave this example. If there is a superintendent of police is there and there is a constable next to him and you go and give gifts to constable and offering the salute and everything to the constable will feel so insecure and uncomfortable and he'll say, oh, don't do that to me. Here is the superintendent of police. You do whatever you're doing to me to him because he deserves it, because he's the one giving me the job and I'm just still inferior to him. Then you will go to that superior police officer, correct? Like that, even if you go to Devi Devadas, they are not comfortable because they don't deserve that kind of worship from us because they are still Jiva Tattvas, they are still working for the pleasure of Krishna. Like us, they are like us. Jivas are, the Devi Devadas are like us, but with higher powers. That's all. And they are sometimes also they also sometimes become angry, they sometimes curse, and Parvati one time cursed the devotee Chitraketu, like that. But that doesn't mean we should disrespect them or anyway put them in an inferior position. Okay, they are in their own superior position compared to us, but they are still seeing Krishna as the superior because Krishna is the superior to everybody. Okay, like removing the Devi Devadas picture, the inspiration will come within. Okay, for me to tell you, it is very rude. I had a same question when I was practicing bhakti in the beginning stage, because we are grahasthas, we are householders. We maintain the altar very nicely, correct? If not very nicely, at least at a decent level. We have all Devi Devadas, and we worship them every day. We do that. But when I came to the stage where I wasn't too sure should I or not, because Krishna is the supreme. Watering the root to the tree is what I'm learning, but why I'm doing this, should I or not? Then I was told that you don't have to, but it's your choice. Okay, but respect should be there towards them. So yeah, you will make your own decision.
Thank you.
No worries. Any other questions?
Yes, Mataji. Manju here.
Yes, Manju.
Actually, I don't know if it is a right question or not. Srimad Bhagavatam and only Gita, they are different books or they're the same? Just the title is different.
No, Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Krishna to Arjuna, and it covers the jnana and bhakti and karma, all kinds of yoga, including Ashtanga yoga. And then Krishna specifies what is important, that is bhakti is important to attain Krishna. Okay, that is Bhagavad Gita. Srimad Bhagavatam is spoken about Krishna, devotees. So Srimad Bhagavatam is about Bhagavan, bhakti and bhaktas. Okay, and that establishes or re-establishes supremacy of Krishna again and again, and also glorifies devotees again and again through different pastimes. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita both written by Srila Vyasadeva only, because of course Srila Vyasadeva composed Mahabharata, and one part of Mahabharata is Bhagavad Gita, and Srimad Bhagavatam is the summum bonum of all scriptures. So if you study Srimad Bhagavatam, that means you don't have to study anything else. Okay, so Bhagavad Gita is like bachelors, and then Srimad Bhagavatam is like masters, and then you don't have to study anything else, because whatever knowledge you need to know, you get it here. Then why waste time? Any other questions? Okay, so next week we will continue with chapter 2. I believe 32nd verse or something we need to continue from. Okay, so 41, is it?
Yeah, till 40 we are done.
Okay, very good. Then we will continue from 41, and there are 70 or 71 verses, something like that, in second chapter. We will slowly cover that also. And Damodara month, when it comes, we will encourage each other to do some offering ghee lamps every day, morning and evening if possible, or at least one time a day, and other things, Damodara Ashtagam and etc. Okay. Now, may I ask a question?
Mataji, is Damodara month also called as Kartik month?
Correct, yes.
I mean, are they both?
Yes. So Padmanabha month is going on. Usually, sometimes between October and November, Damodar month comes. And this year, now Damodar month comes in the entire November. Last year also November. My birthday falls in November. So last time also it was in November, Kartik month. And this time full November, 1st to 30th. So it's so great. So we can spend the entire month glorifying Krishna and Damodar pastime, and we will discuss Damodar pastime, so funny pastimes also. Maybe we'll focus on that, more on that once it begins. And may I ask, who is Sanjay Rati? Is it Manju your relatives?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, sure. Okay, so that's all.
Actually, he's my sister's husband.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
They actually whole family sit together and listen.
That's very nice. And I will be starting Tamil Bhagavad Gita soon, but we'll see how we go. Sometimes on Sunday. And then I'll let you know, and then you can pass the message to whoever you know from Tamil community, and then they can join. It will be most likely YouTube live. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. and please continue chanting and doing good things, whatever you're doing, and continue to ask nice questions like this. Okay, and take care, all of you.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare